What up, everybody? Once again, this is Pax Jiidaika. I am back with a dual purpose video. So it has two parts to it. So the first part is this. I want to say Ba'aka La Yom Ath Shalom Yahajakwa, which means Happy Pax Jiidaika. Today is December 26th. This is Pax Jiidaika, our second highest holiday short of Yom HaShabta, which is the day of rest dedicated to Yahweh. Anywho, that is the first part. Okay. So I wanted to say that. So happy Pax Jiidaika. All right. And the second half that I wanted to dedicate this video to is a warning. Okay. Basically stating that those of you who are Goyim, who are non-Negroes, please, please, please stay out of Negroes' business concerning us returning to our God, Yahweh. Because if you don't stay out of our business and don't try to interfere with us returning to our God, Yahweh, the God of Negroes, the God of Abraham, Yataza, Aka, Kwa, Wayai, Kwab, there will be judgment, okay? And there'll be judgment on everyone who is involved, up to the highest level, down to the lowest level. And yes, it will involve your families as well. So do be warned in the whole nine. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just give a couple short, simple examples of why you don't want to do that in the whole nine and everything. And the first example, excuse me, the first example that I will give is that of Egypt. Okay. Now, the people of Yasharal, you know, came into being really in Egypt and the whole nine and everything like that, and actually developed into a people from 70 people who originally entered that land and the whole nine and everything like that, ending up enslaved for 400 years. And then when it was time to go, the leadership, the government of Egypt did not want to let them go. The Pharaoh, okay, and Pharaoh just simply means the leader. It's not a fancy ass term like a lot of people think. It just means the leader. The leader of the nation, he did not want to let them go. He said to Masha, who the fuck is your God, Yahweh, that I should let these slaves of mine go? And the whole nine and everything like that. And his heart was hardened by Yahweh, so Yahweh could carry out some judgments upon him that would impress the people of Yasharal and all the people, surrounding peoples and nations besides Egypt and the whole nine, as to how powerful Yahweh was and is, and whatnot. And that is exactly what happened. Judgment came on the nation of Egypt. Judgment came on, and let me start over again. Judgment came upon the gods of Egypt. Then judgment came upon the government of Egypt. Then judgment came upon the leader and the rest of the leadership of Egypt. And judgment came upon the people of Egypt as well, because they would not and were unwilling to let Yasharal go, to let the son of Yahweh and the only son of Yahweh, the God of Abraham, Yataza, Akakwa, and Ya'ikwab, is the nation of Yasharal. And Pharaoh and his government refused to let them go. So Yahweh destroyed their gods. Yahweh destroyed their government. Yahweh destroyed their military. Yahweh destroyed their leader. And Yahweh destroyed their families as well. And the whole nine and everything like that. You know, this is stuff you can read in what folk, call the Old Testament and whatnot. So they brought judgment upon themselves by not allowing Yasharal, not allowing Negroes to move on and go and serve their God in peace. Okay? The same types of judgment, or same type of judgment, is hanging over the head of any of you Goyim, you non-Negroes out there who are getting in the way of, or want to get in the way of, Yasharal, meaning Negroes, returning to serving Yahweh through schemes and of various different sorts or whatever, and trying to interfere with the lives of individuals who are returning to or have returned to Yahweh. It will bring judgment upon you, and it will bring judgment upon every single level, even levels higher than you, that were involved in that process of scheming. So do be warned, because like I said before, even the gods of Egypt received judgment in the whole nine. Okay. So, not a good thing to do. So Egypt is the first example of what not to do and what happens when, folk refuse to allow the people of Yahweh to return to Yahweh and serve Yahweh. Or in that case, it was their first time turning to Yahweh, but nonetheless, the principle holds the same. Then we get to another example of how you goyim, you non-Negroes, can bring judgment upon yourself in the Honan, and that is by being arrogant. Okay, Yasharal had messed up, fucked up in the past, and became idol worshippers, started worshiping other fucking gods in the whole nine. And as a result, Yahweh threw our people into slavery. Okay, our nation got conquered by Babylon. Okay, now Babylon not only took the people, but they took all the articles and things that were in the temple of Yahweh in the whole nine, all the gold items, silver, everything in the whole nine. Now they kept all these things, right? But originally, it was just stored away. Nothing was done to it. It wasn't like melted down or anything like that and turned into money or whatever. It was just all kept and preserved. And that was the thing that Yahweh did to the hearts of the kings of Babylon. But one came along and he was very arrogant. He decided he was going to drink out of the articles, some of the cups and things of that nature and whatnot that were originally in the temple of Yahweh that was destroyed in Jerusalem and the whole nine and everything like that. And judgment was brought upon him. You can read about it in the whole nine and everything like that. This is where we get the phrase from writing on the wall. The writing is on the wall from the story of what happened to him in the whole nine when judgment was pronounced on him because of his arrogance, dealing with the articles, the things belonging to Yahweh. Now, what I'm trying to say is right now is any of you non-Negroes who are trying to keep Negroes from returning to Yahweh, you're acting arrogantly, just like that king, that wicked king in Babylon, who just because Yahweh gave his people into his nation's hand to be slaves and to be conquered because of their past evils, it did not mean that they could act any old kind of way that they wanted to with the articles, with the things belonging to Yahweh. Okay. And by acting like they could do anything they wanted to the articles, the things belonging to Yahweh, that king brought judgment upon himself, and judgment was brought upon that nation. We, of course, know that Babylon was taken down by another country called Persia, which today is called Iran. Iran destroyed and took over Babylon, okay? Because Babylon refused to do a few different things. Refused to, of course, return the people of Yasharal to the land, and also acted arrogantly with the articles and things belonging to the great God, Yahweh, the chief of which are the people of Yasharal and the whole nine. Okay, so judgment was brought upon Babylon and it went out of existence, even though it had been the superpower of its day and of its age in that region and whatnot. Okay, but then we have a better example, or not better example. We have an example of the right thing to do, and that is the example of the Persian kings, of the ancient Iranian kings. They acted in a way that was appropriate in the eyes of Yahweh. They ended up returning Yasharal and all of the articles and things that belonged in the temple of Yahweh to Jerusalem. Okay, they gave all of that back to our people when they sent with supplies Negroes back to the land of Yasharal, back to the capital, Jerusalem, to rebuild it and rebuild the temple of Yahweh and the whole nine. And as a result, that nation continued on, okay, even after they had released all of our people who were slaves and who wanted to return and the whole nine and everything like that to our land and whatnot. Okay, so that's showing two different phases or two different ways of our people, of Negroes, exiting a nation and the whole nine and everything like that, coming out of captivity. We can either come out in a peaceful manner or we can come out in a way that's going to bring judgment upon the gods, upon the government, upon the leaders' families who are a part of the nation that is refusing to allow us to leave peaceably or even refusing to bless us on our way out, and the whole nine and everything like that. So do be warned that this judgment hangs over the head of all of you goyim who have or who will hear this, and the whole nine, no matter how high up you are, and even over the heads of your gods and whatnot. If you interfere and get in the way of Yasharal returning to Yahweh, Yahweh will destroy all of you. Every single one of you, your gods, your governments, your militaries, your families, everything associated with you, all you leaders, and all you scheming agents who work for the leaders as well. Just understand that. You may be able to hide from the eyes of me and others and the whole nine and everything like that, but you cannot hide from the eyes of the God of gods, who has technology beyond the stuff being able to look through people's walls and, voyeuristically look at them when they're fucking, farting, coughing, arguing, laughing, or whatever the case might be in their home. Yahweh has technology that is far beyond that. And you should really, really, really fear this message and fear Yahweh and cease from any fuckery and chicanery that you have been doing, that you have done. And I'd beg for forgiveness right now if I were you and the whole nine and everything like that, because this judgment is real. Even right now, here in the United States of America, just because Yasharal is beginning to get the knowledge of Yahweh again and beginning to turn to Yahweh, the strength of this nation is starting to wane. And that is because this nation has not embraced that change and the return of the people of Yasharal to Yahweh. Instead, it has resisted it and tried to double down and say, hey, we're going to double down on our supremacy and da da da, et cetera, et cetera. We did all of this on our own. We did it by our own hand and by our might and the whole nine and everything like that. And all we have to do is redouble our efforts and we'll get back to where we were. That is not true. This country, the United States of America, was built by Negro hands. Unwillingly, true. Through slavery, yes. And the reason why is because of our ancestors' past rebellion, just like in the time of Babylon and whatnot. We were sent into slavery here in the United States of America because our people, our ancestors, were not serving Yahweh only. This is why judgment came upon us through the hand of the Romans. This is why all of these judgments have happened, including being here and being enslaved in the United States of America. Now, the thing of it is that the strength of America was built by Negro hands. Okay? The wealth of America was built by Negro hands. And Negroes are the reason why America is preserved right now. We're like salt in this place that's keeping this place from totally and completely rotting. Even though, yes, there are some rotten elements among us in the whole nine as well. Everyone is not redeemed to Yahweh who is a Negro. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to say that. Of course, there are the P. Diddy's of the world and the whole nine and everything. But my whole point is that we are the people of the book. We are the people of Yahweh, and we are being wakened up and we are returning. If you get in the way of this process, you're going to bring judgment on your gods, on your governments, on your government's leaders, on your government's leaders' families, on the angels, the Mala'akaya, the government agents who work for them, and upon your military, and upon your general populace as well, and your nation altogether. It could even go out of existence. Okay, like Babylon was conquered, destroyed, and the whole nine, and taken over by the Persians and the whole nine, and is not a nation today. And one thing I will say is that the Persians, though they were defeated in wars and things of that nature in the whole nine, they had a mighty empire at one time. But guess what? Their nation still exists. Iran is still a country today in the whole nine, but Babylon is not. So choose you today what kind of fate you want for your nation, especially you all who are government agents. Okay, just know that whatever fuckery and chicanery you visit upon anyone who is a Negro who is returning to Yahweh will be visited upon you and yours, your nation, and even your gods. Okay? And the God of the United States of America is Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ is under Yahweh, not over Yahweh, not equal to Yahweh. So you'll even be bringing judgment upon him. With that said, I say to you all, Shalom.